Hi there and welcome to Transcona Trailer Sales. Today I'm walking you through your 2024 Sportsman 301 Dbse. We are just going to start off the back of the unit. If you notice up top, you are pre-wired for an observation camera. If you'd like to get set up with that, you can contact our parts department. They can put together a quote for you. You got your spare tire located in the back, and then on the back left-hand side, you got this little cap. Pull that out. And that is usually where your sewer hose would be located. We have a brand new one located in the front compartment, which I will show you in a minute. But this is where you'd want to put it after your first use, just so it keeps most of the smell out of the unit. And then to get it back into place, you just kind of have to assist it in a little bit and push it in. Bang it in. And then in this corner, as well as all four corners of the unit, you're going to have stabilizer jacks. You get a 3/4 inch drive nut right here at the end. We include a tool in the front compartment. You're going to hook that tool up, run this foot down to the ground. Once that foot contacts the ground, just giving another 1/8 quarter turn just to snug it up, and it's going to take any bounce or sway you see we have in the unit right now away. You're going to see a lot of people using impacts on these. Just be careful whenever you are running the impact. You do run the risk of bending the jack, so just be mindful of that whenever you're doing that. And this right here is going to be your main twist lock power cord. Pull that guy out. You just take a note of that notch there. It lines up with this notch on this side. You're just pressing that into place, push it in, 1/8 turn to lock it in, and then you got that threaded collar to really lock it down. And then if you follow that cord back, you do have your standard 30 amp plug end. Most campsites should have this and you can plug right on in, but let's say you have the unit at home, or your campsite only has 15 amp service. We do include a 15 amp park adapter. Just keep in mind when you're going down to 15 amps of power, you can't run something like your air conditioner. It's just going to be to run your fridge and your lights realistically. And whenever you do plug this in, you're going to get a little blue light on the top, just letting you know that you have a good power source. If that red light were to be on, it'd be telling you that you have an issue with your source of power, not with the trailer. You got your main sewer hose outlet. Twist this guy off. You got those ears there. Your sewer hose is going to have the same ears. They just line up with the notches on the outlet. You just line those guys up, twist it into place, locks in. You got your gray valve and your black valve. You're always going to want to empty your black valve first. That's going to be your dirtiest water filled from your toilets. And then you can come behind that with your gray valve, which is typically a little cleaner water filled from your sinks and your showers. Coming a little further ahead, you got a cable satellite inlet right here. Then you got your city water connection. So if you pull that guy off, thread a garden hose in there. That's going to pressurize all your lines without the needing to run your water pump. And then if you're at a site with no service, you do have a fresh water tank. Put a garden hose in there, turn it on. It's going to fill that fresh tank, and that's what your water pump draws off of. Twisting this compartment open, you're going to notice on this wall here, you got this little box boxed in. There's 2 screws on this side, and then there is another screw just on the back side, and it'll allow this to pop out. Just being careful when you're moving it, because it is just stapled together, so it is a little flimsy. And you're gonna have your water pump behind there, and that's how you're gonna get access to your winterization bypass. You're gonna notice you are pre-wired for solar, so if you want to get set up with that, again, you can contact the parts department. They can put together a quote for you. You get a panel put up on the roof. Located at the front here, you got your battery box. That's where your batteries housed. You got your propane tanks. Most of the time, you can do what you need to do just by loosening off these knobs, moving them out of place. And that'll allow you to get access to everything. But for the purpose of video, I will just pull it off. It's a little snug, you just gotta pull it off, and it comes right off. And then that gives you access to take it off. Just loosening this guy off, it'll allow everything to pop out of place. Disconnect your hoses, always making sure your tanks are off. You got your selector valve on your regulator. With it pointed this way, you're gonna be drawing off this tank. And if you're to point it that way, you're gonna be drawing off that tank. Like a barbecue, open it all the way to open up the flow of propane to the unit. You got your battery disconnect located right behind that battery box. And with it positioned with the way it is now, in the on position, the batteries are connected to the unit. And if you were to turn that to the off position, the batteries would become disconnected from the unit. You got your power tongue jack right up front. You got a little light you can turn on if you're docking at night, and then down and up. And there is a little override right at the top here in case this were to fail for whatever reason. And then coming to this left side, We'll pop this compartment open just so you can see it. You do have to come with a starter pack. That's where your sewer hose is going to be located, and then just some other goodies. Coming around this side, you got your main entry door, which I'll show you in a second. You do have a nice little leash lash here in case you want to hook up your dog. You're going to notice this little flap here. It's currently closed, so you're always going to want to open that up just by pressing in these two tabs at the same time and pulling out. This just allows the inside to draw fumes away from the stove. You got your hot water heater access port. Twist, open that guy up. You're going to notice you got your main power switch. Turning that on does supply power to the thermostat inside, which I'll show you in a second. You're going to see you got a pressure relief valve here. Very important note when you are winterizing these. It's not like your traditional water heater as it's tankless. You are going to want to run antifreeze through it, and then whenever you're done, always leaving this cracked open so for a while to allow all the antifreeze to drain out. That way whenever it does get cold and expands, it doesn't burst any of those coils. Closing that up. You got your furnace exhaust whenever that's on. This is going to be blowing out hot air, so just be mindful of that. You got two 110 plugins as well as a cable satellite outlet. You got your exterior shower, which does just open with your standard 751 key, which should come included with your unit. You're just going to stick that key in there, twist it open, allows that to open up. You got hot and cold water with a swivel head. You got your black tank flush, so very important. You're going to have your sewer connected and your tank open, your tank valve open. If you don't do that, you do run the risk of bursting your tank. Thread a garden hose in here and turn it on, and that's just going to flush that tank out, keeping things that little bit cleaner, helping with false monitor panel readings. You got your two low point drains. There's two valves right behind this fender skirt. If you're ever wanting to leave the unit for a while and you're worried about the water going stale or stagnant, just crack these guys open. It's going to drain all the fluid that's inside the lines. Helps whenever you're changing any faucets or anything as well. To get the main door open, you're just taking the assist handle, pushing it up, holding it 90 degrees, it'll lock into place. It allows you to open up that door. Always making sure you do open up the door all the way to get the stairs out. And then to get the stairs out, just pulling it back towards you. It's going to start making its way down. You do have adjustable feet, so you have nice and level stairs if you're adjusting your camera needs. And that folds down. You take a step on the side. First thing you notice off on your left is going to be that fire extinguisher. Just like home, pull the pin and shoot. You got your slide out button. So if you push and hold that button, the slide out's going to start making its way out. Always making sure that you know what's on either side of the slide, inside and out. That way you don't run the risk of damaging anything. Once that slide out's fully extended, you're just going to hear the whines and the clicks of the motor, and that's when you know you're fully extended. And there you are. You got your main light switch. So this just turns on all the main living space lights except for the ones inside the dinette, which are in the slide out, which are on their own center push buttons. You got a little awning LED strip light. Retracting that awning all the way. Pushing that down on that extend. The awning's going to start making its way out once fully extended. You're going to see the back of the metal tube and a little flap hang down. That awning LED light is just right there, by the way. So there you go. You got that flap hanging down. And you see the back of that metal tube, so you know you're fully extended. Now, for a start raining, you can take any arm, front or rear, and just pull down on it. It's going to change the pitch of the awning head, allowing water to then run off. Now, if you like that angle better because it allows for more shade underneath, you can do the same thing with the front arm. Just always making sure you do push those arms back to straight whenever you retract it in. That way you don't run the risk of bending anything. And to retract it in, you're just pushing and holding that retract button. Awning's going to make its way in. And once those arms contact the side of the trailer, the motors are just going to cut out, and that's when you know you're fully in. You got your monitor panel settings up top. It'll tell you everything from your fresh, your battery. It's going to say black 2 and gray 2. You do only have black 1 and gray 1, so just be mindful of that. Underneath here is just going to be some storage space. In the bedroom here, light switch is going to be on the far left side up on the wall here. Turning that on does turn on the 2 lights inside here. You got a TV backer right here, so if you want to mount a TV in the bedroom, you can do so. You are pre-wired for Wi-Fi. You got a cable satellite outlet as well as some regular plugins. This is going to be the fire exit for the bedroom. You're just pulling on this little red tab. Screen's going to pop right out of place, and then you can just take this red handle, push it out, and hop out of the unit. All the blinds in the unit are going to work the same way. They just kind of sit where you leave them. You got plugins on either side of the bed. One side is regular plugins, the other side is USB, and of course storage on both sides. Then you get to your main entertainment area. You got your sound bar right on the wall. It does have FM built in. Hit that power button, turns it on, just like home, minus the fact having zone 1 and zone 2. Zone 1 will be your interior speakers, zone 2 will be your exterior speakers. TV, just like home. And then you get to your fireplace. Pretty simple. You just push that button, it's going to turn it on. You got a timer that goes anywhere from 30 minutes to about 5 hours. You can change your different flame colors, rock colors, and then you can just change your temperature settings just by pushing that button. You can go either low or high or off and just have the flames running. Power button, turn that off. Then you get to your main kitchen space. You got that sink with hot cold water, storage all underneath. Then you come to your stove, flipping that glass cover back, again being careful because it's glass. You can open that guy up whenever you are running the stove. Very important you run this just so you're evacuating those propane fumes. Speaking of propane fumes, I'll just go over it quick. Since you have propane stove and oven as well as the furnace, you got an LP detector right on here near the ground. If that guy ever starts going off, you are just going to want to turn off the main supply of propane at the front of the unit and just open up some windows and ventilate it out a little bit. To get this to light, you're just having to push and hold it on that pilot option while hitting the igniter. One thing I'm going to note, when you've had the propane off for a while, it takes a while to purge all the air out of the lines, as you're going to see, and sometimes it just takes a while to get everything running properly. So if you do have the propane off for a while, I always recommend firing up the stove before you go to fire up your water heater or your furnace. That allows it to purge most of the air out of the system, and the same thing goes for the oven. The oven can sometimes take even longer, 2 to 3 minutes. So just be patient with it and don't panic if it doesn't start right away. Just holding it on that pilot option and holding the dial in. You do have light on the right hand side too. And you're just hitting that igniter and eventually it will light. Again, like I said, it takes a few minutes sometimes, so just be patient with it. Sometimes you do just have to turn it off and then back on again and push it in. It's almost went there. There you go. Once that pilot lights, you're just holding this button in for another second until it holds its own. Sometimes it'll go out after the first try. Once it's on and holding its own, you can turn it up to your desired temperature and it'll fire. And it will fire right up. Whenever you're flipping this back down, just be careful, it is glass. You got travel latches, so you just have to push down on the fridge to open that guy up. Up on the wall here, you're gonna have your settings. So off is obviously with the fridge off, with it all the way clockwise is at its coldest setting for the fridge and freezer. Then you're gonna see this little off grid rating here. So whenever you are traveling, if you're wanting that fridge to run when you're plugged into your tow vehicle, you do have to make sure you have it on that off grid setting, or otherwise it's not gonna run. And then you do have a charcoal filter in here just to help with some of those fridge odors. We do sell replacement ones of these. You can contact the parts department again for that, and then it just slides into place. Behind here will give you access to the back of that water heater if you would ever need to get into there. You got your thermostat on the wall. Pushing that button once, it'll just illuminate itself, and pushing it again, you can go between your different modes. So you got cool, heat, and then cool plus heat. So depending on what you have the thermostat to will depend on what it turns on. And if you push that button again, then you can get into your fan setting. So you can run that fan without running the air conditioner or the heater on. But whenever you're running it, if you have it on high auto or low auto, it's going to be an on-demand system, so it'll kick in and out as needed depending on the set temperature of on the thermostat. Or you can run it full time on either low or high. I typically leave it just in auto, and then if you hit that, we're already at temperature, so it's not going to kick anything in. And then just go back off and off to turn everything off. And turning the dial whenever you're in cooler heat at any moment will change the set temperature. Into the slide area, and on the roof you just have lights on their own center push buttons. Both windows are fire exits. You're just having to lift those handles, and the window will pop right out. Get this pulled up into a bed. You're just having to remove those top cushions and set them aside. Pick up the foot of the couch and pull out. It'll allow that to fold out. You got two legs underneath. Flip them out, lay it down. Then you can take that backrest and fold it down, and it'll make it into a bed. Now to get it back all in, you're just total opposite. Fold it all in, making sure you fold those legs in. Set it back into place, and then you can just take your back cushions, develop them back in. Your dinette area also turns into a bed. You're just having to remove these bottom legs from the table, set the tabletop in these ledges they have around, and then take your back cushions to fill in the center, and you have yourself another bed. Coming into your bathroom, light switch on the wall, then a fan switch. Whenever you're running this fan, you got to open up this vent lid all the way by turning that. You're going to notice you do open up straight into the atmosphere, so if it were to start raining, it would get wet in here, so just be mindful of that. You can opt to purchase a max air vent cover, in which case you could leave this open when it's raining. You got your main GFI plug on the wall here, test on the bottom, reset in the middle. Hot and cold water here, and then just on the wall here, you're going to notice you got your thermostat. This is going to be for the water heater. Turning that on, you can adjust the set temperature at any time, pushing up and down. You can also change it between Celsius and Fahrenheit. Whenever you have this on, as soon as you turn the hot water tap on, it's automatically going to start preheating. This is just your current output temp. Power button just to turn it off. Right down here, you're going to notice you got your main fuse and breaker panel. Just got to pop that open. Whenever a breaker trips, it's going to sit in the middle, so you do just have to turn it off and then back on again to reset it. And then whenever a fuse blows, there'll be a little red indicator light letting you know which one's blown. And then you just got your back bedroom area. The light switch are on their own center push buttons. Just another bedroom area. Not much I'm going to show you in here. That's going to be it for this unit here. If you have any other questions, feel free to give us a call.